The following is a presentation of Learfield IMG College.
This is Duck Insider.
Give it to Verdell. He's got the first down and gone. Duck fans start celebrating. Oregon is the 2019 Pac-12 champion. The 2020 Rose Bowl champion.
Richardson, another open three. Good. Duarte dribbles and slams with the right hand. For the third time in the last 5 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions. Outright champ.
Foley three. Good. Foley ball. Down Shelley. Three ball. Good. Regular season champions and now Pac-12 tournament champions.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you, and a busy day. We've got basketball coming up tonight. Woo! We're back. The Ducks taking on Missouri, number 21 team in the country in Oregon men's basketball. 6 o'clock tonight, 5:30 pregame show across the Oregon Sports Network, televised on Fox Sports 1, and we'll take your Facebook comments and questions over the course of the show today. Going to hear from Mario Cristobal, the Oregon football head coach, just wrapped up his press conference. We have that for you coming here shortly. We also have a number of other things to talk about, including Alex Forsyth and a candid interview with the Oregon center. Jalen Redd and quarterback Tyler Shough. Also, Jordan Happel just wrapped up speaking with the media if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. Austin Falliou is about to sit down and chat with the media as well. We have that for you coming up, and a full preview of Oregon men's basketball as their season starts tonight, which means no coaches show tonight. Those of you who would normally be joining us for an Oregon football coaches show at 7 o'clock tonight on the Oregon football Facebook, Twitter, GoDucks, YouTube, across the Oregon Sports Network. We got basketball, so no coaches show coming up. You can still submit your Shout fan videos. You can find the link on GoDucks.com. Basketball, we're taking submissions for national anthem videos, actually, at Matthew Knight Arena. If you're interested, email athletic@uoregon.edu to submit your national anthem video. Also, fan cutouts at Matthew Knight Arena. They're a thing. GoDucks.com/fan cutouts and GoDucks.com/sellout. You can help us beat the Huskies next week with a virtual sellout. That's all still to come. And the new Mighty Oregon podcast. The first guest on it is Sabrina Ionescu. You can check that out. You'll find it on the social media landscape and on the podcast service of your choice, the new Mighty Oregon podcast. Well, some updates from Mario Cristobal today as he spoke to the media just a little while ago. We'll let you listen in. His conversation with the media, a lot of updates on some guys, and what's the mindset of this team heading into a matchup with California at 4 o'clock on ESPN on Saturday. Mario Cristobal on that and more just a little while ago.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's wrapping up 2-minute drill in our Wednesday practice in preparation for Cal, and open to questions.
Mario, I wonder if there was any more clarity on some of the injured players. I know you mentioned Adrian was likely not to be available this week, but any more clarity on players you mentioned on Monday?
No, we're still assessing a bunch of them. I think it'd be unfair to them and to us and to yourself as well if I jump to conclusions. I feel like they're progressing really well, and several are taking part in practice. So in the next 48 hours, we'll know for sure, and we'll certainly try to get you that information as best we can. But we're still evaluating a bunch of guys, and there's so much progress with them that we're hopeful for some good news.
Mario, just to follow with that, won't get into specifics then with Drew, but just obviously it impacts it inside line, whether he plays or not, whether he's able to go. Just who's kind of next in line there due to just the issues at that position. Is that MJ? Is Nate get in the mix? And does Jackson, who is kind of working inside and outside, does he go inside just because of the depth situation at inside?
Yeah, all those names are part of the mix. They have been throughout the course of the year. We just got to continue to assess and evaluate where we are throughout the course of this week. And then make those decisions, and have the pieces in place to have the next man go up whenever that does, if it does happen.
Mario, yesterday Jalen Redd said that the difference between this year's team and the previous teams is that guys aren't as maybe confident that they're the best player at their position on the field at that time, and that they need to have that confidence of, hey, we can dominate. Is that a byproduct of just a young team and growing and learning the processes of a season?
Well, I think mentality, and when a guy maybe says something like that, it refers to maybe a couple of guys, that aren't quite at the physical and mental level of some of the other guys that have played more and that have experience. But I don't I don't relegate that just to young guys that don't have experience. I mean, at the end of the day, mentality has to be real, has to be based upon what you do, from a performance standpoint, from your effort, from your technique, fundamentals, your toughness, how you finish plays. So I don't think you could separate the two. I don't think you could separate the mentality from the actual performance and production. We certainly have areas of improvement that we're working on. I think football will always be that. So it's not anything you shy away from, or you kind of sit back and say, man, I wish that was better. Of course, you always want to get better, even the things you're doing well, but it continues to start and end with effort and focus and work on those things so that can help someone gain confidence.
Mario, you didn't have much time on that final drive, but I'm just curious if you would have hit a big pass play, like what kind of range does Cattleman have, or is Camden Lewis kind of your long field goal guy? What situation would you have there in a long field goal to tie the game?
Well, those guys can both and have hit 50, and have even hit a couple of 55-yarders. That, we went into that game kicking Cattleman. So he was if we got in range, we were going to kick him.
Mario, when you flip on the tape and watch the Cal offense, I know they started slow against UCLA, but it looks like the numbers have improved every week. What do you see there? And obviously, I think the most experienced quarterback you faced is Chase Garbers.
Yeah, I don't think that their first game is any indication of what they are as a team. I don't even think they practiced together with the lines of scrimmage. And so you see their run go from 87 yards to their second game at 120 plus. Now they're at about 240 in their last game. So I see a very well-organized, well-coached, and a tough physical team that has speed and length outside at wide receiver. Very versatile tight ends that'll block you on ISO as well as split zone you, reach you, and stretch the field in the passing game. Real good blockers on the perimeter as well. They do have some really good offensive linemen. The quarterback is experienced, and he's an accurate, tough guy that he does a great job with the offense. Again, he's accurate with the ball. He understands coverages really well, gets them in the right protections. Just their offense is really, especially this past game, they're rolling, and they have a lot of talented players.
To follow on that, Mario, some of their other offensive personnel that either haven't faced as much or just in bigger roles, the lead receiver, 11, Crawford, and the running back, the freshman Moore, 28. What have you seen from them on offense? And then defensively, obviously the three stars, Dang Good and Bynum, 8, 19, 24. Just what have you seen from all those guys?
Explosive football players, really good play. They have really good talent. Certainly I think it was no secret that going into the season, there was a lot of attention surrounding their program, and as it warrants, because they've done a really good job recruiting, and they've done a really good job developing football players, and they're coached really well. So we feel they're as good as any team that we have played. And certainly in some areas, some of the best players that we've played against as well. So, and I think our team is always going to approach every game that way, with a complete and utter respect for the opponent, understanding that all the teams that we play are going to have really good football players.
This is a lot of these guys' first loss they're coming off of here. I wonder if you can go back and reflect on maybe your first tough loss in college and kind of what the days were after that and how that maybe motivated you and how you responded on the field the next week.
Yeah, to me, losses, if they don't fuel you, you're not a competitor. If they don't provide the type of motivation, the ill feeling in your gut of going out there and getting better, not just talking it or feeling it into existence, but if it doesn't motivate you to go out there and perform better by what you invest in practice, and I honestly believe you're the wrong guy for this program. So, and I feel that our guys have had the right mindset in attacking and approaching this thing. It should hurt. It needs to hurt. And you need to also make sure that it's behind you, that you learn your lessons and you go forward and you attack the processes that go with betterment. Sulking and all that other stuff and carrying that stuff over your head, that doesn't exist. You have to have a form of amnesia as you approach the next opponent, and you got to get on it quick. And that's what we've done.
Mario, one of the things Jalen also kind of said yesterday was that, the quicker fall camp run-up changed or altered some of, the demeanor work, the culture work, the kind of swagger work. How is it different, when you're just focusing on games instead of, like you said, technique and fundamentals, but also building that culture, that swagger and moxie in guys? How is it different in season than it is in fall camp and preseason?
Well, I think you just answered it. How is a 2-week fall camp differ from spring practice, winter conditioning, the summer training sessions, the incoming freshmen, your mindset program, a full fall camp with your guest speakers and it's vastly different. Now, that being said, it's the year of adapting and going forward. So those things have to be found in different forms. Those things have to be generated from within, because you can't have team meetings, and you can't have, when I say team meetings, I'm talking about indoors and your guest speakers and outsiders coming in. You can't have your mindset sessions but that's all right. You have to find it in other forms, in the way you practice, in the way you construct your messaging for the team, and the way you attack and approach your training session. So, but in terms of, are they different? Yes, they're different.
What are your assessment on 2 special teams units, Mario? Kickoffs and how that's been going the last couple of weeks, and punts, because I realize it's only 2 punts, but in the second half there was a lot of hidden yards there on those 2 punts. Your evaluation of those 2 units? Not good enough. Ball placement is, first and foremost the most important thing, because your coverage patterns are designed as to where that ball is going to be placed. We didn't get enough out of both the the kicking part or the punting part. And then if it doesn't go exactly like you want it, you got to get down there and you got to cover. You got to shed blocks. You got to avoid. You got to make sure that you're physical at the point of attack and knock people back and get the guy on the ground. So, and neither one of those were they good enough. So that's an area that we've been attacking and approaching, and it's got to be better. There's no it's cut and dry.
Mario, normally when you have corrections to make and improvements to make, for example, with your defense, you have 7, 8, 9 games to build that into a championship defense by the end of the season. How is the approach different when you're already down to your last 2 regular season games and you got to get better?
Well, you just got to get better, brother. There's no detour that gets you there, right? You got to attack it dead on. You got to go straight into it, and just really assessing honestly and truthfully what you really need to do better that can make the whole overall thing better, right? And it always starts with technique, fundamentals. It spills over into mentality and toughness, and then relentless effort and finish, right? All those things got to come together. It can't be spotty, and it certainly can't be inconsistent. If it is, then the result will be inconsistent. And that's something that, again, is approached holistically as a program, because the whole trying to say it's here or there, everyone's got to take it, starting with myself, and we have got to improve it, and we've been on it. Back to what kind of the way we've addressed it, whenever there's something that's not up to our standard, we attack it and we go forward.
Yeah, Coach Anthony Brown, Butterfield have not seen the field for obvious reasons, but how are they? Have they been improving? Are they ready to go? I'm sure they're ready to go. But I mean, have you seen a lot of improvement since the beginning, even though they haven't been on the field?
No, it's a good question. Those guys are really good football players. And the season has taken. We're playing in really tight games for the most part. So we have stuck with our one quarterback. But I can honestly say those 2 guys are really good football players. And if they were playing, we'd have all the confidence in the world in them. That's the honest truth.
Mario, mental fatigue is a real thing amongst college football programs. You guys have been leading the way with no cases of the virus. How is your team mentally as you go into these last couple of weeks? Have you seen any fatigue?
No, I haven't seen it. I think anytime you play football, right, it tests you. It pushes you. We made a decision way back, regardless of circumstance and situation, we're just not going to give in. I don't mean to sound cold, and I don't mean to sound insensitive. I just think we have a greater responsibility to these young men, that this is our opportunity to have our own class on the grass, right? Football is what it is. And with all the stuff going on in the world, the very worst thing we can do is allow for giving. Just to allow, because this is going on, it's okay not to do the very best we can to keep ourselves safe and to keep our protocol at the highest level. And that's not going to happen. Okay. And that's because that's how I would want it for my very own son. I would want him to be challenged and pushed regardless of circumstances and situation to do and be the very best he could be without caving in. And I think our guys, for the most part, have done a pretty good job of that. And there's very few seconds that go by in the day where we're not hammering that part, because that carries over into more than just preventing contracting COVID-19. It just spills into the things in life that they're truly going to be faced with when it's time to take on the responsibility of being the head of a household, right, and stuff like that. So
that's Mario Cristobal, the Oregon football head coach. He met with the media just a little while ago if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. And that's the final time that we'll hear from Coach Cristobal before Jerry Allen sits down with him and chats ahead of kickoff coming up on Saturday. 2 o'clock pregame show, 4 o'clock kick when the Ducks head to Berkeley to take on the Golden Bears of California. I liked what Coach said, though, about their offense, that you can tell they're just getting better and better because they had their own issues being able to practice, not being able to practice, games getting canceled. This team's getting better and better every week, Cal is, and you can see it in the rushing numbers alone. They went from less than 100 to over 100 to over 200 yards in consecutive games on the ground. Got to keep an eye on that Golden Bear rushing attack, and I do think that Chase Garbers is going to continue to get better and better. Ducks going to have to find a way to slow him down defensively. Jackson Food Store is proud sponsor of the University of Oregon Ducks. Everything that you need for the big game at Jackson's. Go Ducks. Up next, Alex Forsyth, Jalen Redd, Tyler Shough. You heard Jalen Redd mentioned there a couple times with Coach Cristobal today. Didn't get to his interview yesterday. I think you're going to like what you have to hear next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Learfield IMG College.
I wasn't prepared to be a caregiver to Mom. I had no idea how hard it would be and what I would need to know. Things I never thought of, like how to improve her mood and ways for me to stay positive. Luckily, I found the Caregiving Resource Center from AARP. It had articles about the basics, but also information about the hurdles I was facing.
Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Articles, tips, and tools to help you both care for your loved one and care for yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, everybody in the car. Let's go.
What are we gonna do first when we get there, Mom? Go for a hike?
Sure.
What about canoeing? Can we go canoeing too?
I don't see why.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
It's not that far, sweetie.
Are we there yet?
Yep, we're here.
Already?
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you inside the Country Financial Studio. 6 o'clock tonight, Oregon men's basketball tipping things off. The Ducks will face Missouri. Very experienced team. Their top 7 scorers are back. And meanwhile, the Ducks looking to replace Peyton Pritchard. How do they do that? We'll find out with some new faces. We'll tell you all about it on the pregame show starting at 5:30 here coming up this evening ahead of the Ducks matchup with Missouri. Coming to you from Omaha. It's kind of a miniature neutral site tournament that the Ducks are playing in, thanks to our friends at Creighton. Shadow Hills Country Club, your family resort, just minutes from home. Call for a tour today. Alex Forsyth, the starting Oregon center, met with the media. And I don't even know how to quite describe a candid interview. And I think an interview that look, they know that they can get better and that they need to get better moving forward. Yeah. Candid. Alex Forsyth, candid, the center.
Alex, what have the last couple of days been like after obviously a tough loss to Oregon State? You feel like you guys have, Coach said after the game, you guys want to use this as fuel. You feel like you guys have done that?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I think we really moved on from that game. You can't let a game like that beat you twice. That's the biggest thing. And, I think the best thing that I saw was, almost immediately after the game on our bus ride, the O-line texted each other. We said, hey, let's just watch this film tomorrow. Let's just get in here together, watch the film, evaluate it. And then so Sunday we can be ready to move on to just focusing on Cal and getting ready for this game. Because that's, the only way to move on is actually go do it and take action about it.
Yeah, sorry to bring up the game then. I know you're trying to move on, but the crucial series, next to last possession, anything the line could have done differently? It's just Oregon State, they just kind of had you beat on that one, or is there things you could have done differently? First two, especially the one up the middle and the one the option play.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you look back on film. You see people trying to say that it's one guy's fault or it's some other guy's fault, but there's things that we all could have done differently. Definitely things that I saw that I could have done differently on that last drive and on every drive. Just whether it be hat placement, like footwork, honestly anything. You just kind of look back, evaluate it, figure out what you got to do differently, and move on.
Alex, last year, Cal was the only team to hold you guys to under 20 points on the season. Looking at film of this year's team and stuff, what's going to be the keys attacking their defense on Saturday to be successful?
They're really stout up front. They got a great front seven, really tough guys. I think last week against Stanford, the front four guys they played all 70 snaps, and you really don't see that from D linemen that much. Coach Moorhead's got a good game plan going on. Obviously, you got to get it finalized before the game, and we got to just go out there and execute it to the best of our ability.
Alex, in the film review from this last week, what were some of the takeaways from the line? Because outside of Hughes Murray, there were not a lot of negative plays allowed, and those mostly came in the first half. It was certainly a big adjustment from the week before against UCLA. So what were some of the line's takeaways from last week?
I thought we did a little bit better job of movement up front, of handling movement, because Oregon State, they stunted a lot. They had the fast guys. They got some big guys. They had a real nice mix of interior D linemen. I didn't go much against the outside guys. But, there's always stuff on every single play. There's stuff that, I could have had better hat position on some inside zone plays, I think, some wide zone play. There's just little things here and there, and eventually those things kind of add up. There's just little things, little technical flaws that, we just got to fix. And those little things, they turn into big things in big games like that. So we just gotta clean those up.
So you're kind of in a unique spot where you live with Tyler and Ryan. You guys obviously all want to win really bad and want success really bad. What are the conversations just within your house or your wherever you guys live together? What's that kind of like after a loss like this one?
You just got to hold each other up. You can't let. I think everybody on the offense, everybody on the team is first to point thumbs, not fingers. So they're gonna blame themselves. You can't let people blame themselves. It's on everybody. It's not on one person. I think that's a big thing people don't realize is it's not on one singular person. It just so happens. There's little things here and there that everybody does during the game that you wish you could have some plays back. So I think the biggest thing is just this is all our first time experiences as us three as starters. So us just being there for each other. Just focusing on moving on and playing Cal this week. I think that's the biggest thing.
Cal's personnel is a little different from last year, certainly without Weaver in particular, but 8 and 19 were guys who, this offensive line faced, again, different group, but faced last year. What have you seen from those guys in particular, 8 and 19 on film?
Number 8's he's really long. He's a downhill linebacker, great player. 19's got a lot of speed out the edge. Their whole front seven is really talented. Like I said, their interior guys got a lot of power. A lot of twitch to them. So it's going to be a great challenge for us up front, but we're excited for it.
Alex, I realize this is really nitpicky, but I had a lot of fans chiming in on this more. So this is the first time I had to ask you on this. was mainly against UCLA, but people had observed about just the speed of the snaps or how crisp it was. Again, I didn't think it really impacted much by way of the sacks that took place or whatever, but was that something you were focused on correcting more this past week against OSU, and just either the placement or the overall crispness of the snaps?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get it wherever Tyler wants it and whatever speeds he's asking for. So if he tells me it's good, then that's what I'm going for. If he tells me he wants it faster, I try to make it faster. So I just go as he goes. I ask him pretty much. I'm sure he gets annoyed. I ask him after every play, is that good? Is that a good speed? Like, do you want it any faster? How's that? So it's kind of however he wants it is how I'm going to snap it to him.
Alex Forsyth, the Oregon starting center, meeting with the media. Up next, we're going to hear from Jalen Redd, Tyler Shough, and then Jordan Happel and Austin Fowley wrapped up with the media. Hoping to get to them today. Might save them for tomorrow, depending on our timing today. Yeah. Got a lot more still to come. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Getting ready for that 4 o'clock kickoff on Saturday, Ducks and Golden Bears. Back to the Country Financial Studio next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
This football season, prepare your taste buds for the most iconic sports watching drink of all time, Pepsi. With refreshing deliciousness specially formulated to keep your eye on the ball and mouth-watering fizziness to help you power through game day, Pepsi has everything you need to start strong.
I used to care when Mike cheered so hard he spilled nacho cheese on my carpet, but thanks to Pepsi, even Mike can't ruin my football party.
So this football season, make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink made for football watching. Pepsi, that's what I like.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
They say that car crashes happen in slow motion. The reality is that crashes happen fast. There's no time to think and no time to check if your child is in the right car seat. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your kids in the right seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Get more info at safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You got to dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you inside the Country Financial Studios. The Ducks men's basketball team tipping off tonight. They will be donning new uniforms, thanks to our friends at Nike, with also BLM patches on them for Black Lives Matter, as the coaches and players will all honor that. And the Ducks will face off against Missouri, a very experienced team. Oregon with some vets, but not a ton of veterans that have played at Oregon. The guys I'm talking about, at least in a game at Oregon. Eugene Omarui, Eric Williams. I think about LJ Figueroa, who's still awaiting his waiver from the NCAA. Maybe it comes before the game tonight. Who knows? But guys like that have experience, what's this team going to look like? I'm really interested to see what this team's going to look like here coming up over the next couple games, but of course tonight at 6 o'clock on Fox Sports 1, and I'll have the call at a 5:30 pregame show. Yeah, I'm excited for basketball. Can you tell? I'm just looking forward to it. I mean, last year Oregon was the first team in conference history to ever win the football, men's basketball, and women's basketball championships in the same year. I mean, that's why I'm excited to get back to this. I know a lot of people asking, hey, is this going to be – what's it going to look like for football? Is the Pac-12 championship still in reach? Well, yes, it is. It is still in reach, but the margin for error is much slimmer now that the Ducks have that loss to Oregon State. With that in mind, Jalen Redd met with the media and had some powerful things to say about the state of this team's mentality heading in to the matchup with Cal at 4 o'clock on ESPN coming up on Saturday. Jalen Redd talking to the media.
Hi, Jalen. Hate to bring it up at the last play, of the next to last series. I know you're really frustrated by your body language after that play. What happened, and how do you put that behind you, except for a question from somebody like me?
What was going on through my head? Basically, I knew we had the opportunity to close the game out. At the same time, I know we didn't, but I still had the confidence in our D to get it done. The job didn't get done, but at the same time, every time I always gonna have that same confidence for our defense to get that stop. So, yeah, but really it's on us as an offense. We should have got that stop. We should have got that first down and shouldn't even have to worry about the defense getting on the field.
There's a lot of young players on this team, and you're one of the few veterans. What do you say to this group that's going through the first loss of a season and the way that this game was played? What's kind of the leadership you're showing right now?
For me, it's really we're not that far off. It's not a talent. The talent is not that. The gap is not talent-wise. The gap, the more difference for me from what I see from last year and from just like it's just a mindset thing. It's just a demeanor thing. Everybody got to come on and want to dominate the opponent. Just every day. We work hard. We practice hard. Game plan's perfect. Everything. We just got to execute it all. And you know what I mean. Just really just believe that we better than the man that's in front of us. At the same time, we respect every opponent, but you gotta have that upper level in your mind that you gotta win that battle first before you can even win that talent battle.
Jalen, last year Cal was the only team to hold you guys to under 20 points. What do you see as the keys to attacking their defense and being successful on Saturday?
Oh, we just gotta execute. I think they're a good defense. They got a lot of returning players. I respect them a lot. They got great abilities, but at the same time, we just gotta do us. We just gotta execute. Limit turnovers, run the ball good, pass the ball good, block well all around, and we really just got to execute and do our part, man. That shit started today, so yeah, we got to get it going.
Jalen, following up on what you said about the demeanor and the mentality, are you saying maybe you didn't see that from some of your younger teammates in previous weeks, and have you seen that the last couple of days since last Friday?
I want to say I didn't see it. I mean, it might have been spurts. I might have seen some odds and wonder, but it's more just about the emphasis, us emphasizing the demeanor part of it. So every day, just over like the same way we overemphasize fundamentals in the game and the game plan, that mindset. Now, the way we look at our opponent got to be something emphasized because at the same time, we didn't get as much time in fall camp to really install in something in different people's minds. So we got to keep on emphasizing that just so everybody remember, like we really got the ability to be the best, and we really just gotta put your head to it, put your mind to it.
Jalen, I don't think you matched up with him a lot the past couple of years, 24 buying him for Cal, but when you do look at film, what do you see from him?
Oh, he's a great corner, physical corner, very, very long, not too long, but definitely a long corner. He's real smart. He reads his keys very good, and he's patient. He's a savvy player. Somebody we're gonna have to be alert for and execute against. You know what I mean? I'm confident in every receiver on my team, but we know it's not gonna be just an easy battle at the same time.
Jalen, what do you like about the offense so far as where you guys are at, and what are some of the keys you think you guys need to do to get better going forward?
I love the dynamics of the offense. I feel like there's people all around the board that can make plays at any moment in the game. The play calling is so different. There's nothing you can't bracket us and put us in one bubble and say we just do this or just do this. I feel like it's just so elusive in all these different ways we could continue to do what we're doing. We literally just gotta execute. We can't get comfortable. We can't pontificate. When you do that type of stuff, and anything else could creep in, and we got to let all the little stuff, we got to get on all the little stuff so we can get the big picture together.
Your first 3 times against Oregon State, you guys had won. Is it tough knowing that your last one, because you're a senior, turned out that way? Does that make it a little bit more difficult to kind of move on from?
That's definitely probably my most difficult loss I took in college football. So, yeah, that alone, just me losing that game, yeah, that has a big effect on me. At the end of the day, we got to move on. I got to acknowledge it, and we got to move on. We got to get on to this next 1-0 week.
That's honest from Jalen Redd. The Ducks talk about being 1-0 each week, and right now that's got to be the focus, heading into a matchup with Cal. That's a Golden Bears team that I think Oregon's going to get a different looking and a more improved and efficient offense from Cal. Now, defensively, I'll be honest, I thought the Golden Bears would be better this year defensively than they are. Replacing Evan Weaver, who was an All-American at linebacker, that's tough to do. And they've still got a good secondary. But I thought that their defense would be more stout. And if you look at the Pac-12 rankings and the numbers, I'll be honest, they're just not as high as I thought they would be. Now, they've had issues with practicing, as we've talked about, and making sure that they're up to speed, up to snuff, all those different descriptions that you could use. So Oregon, can they take advantage of that? I think that's key coming up. Cal, 4 o'clock, ESPN on Saturday. In the meantime, we're also going to hear from Tyler Shough. Quick timeout, talking with the Duck quarterback next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar presents an original that's now maybe even better. Mary had a little lamb.
Mary had a bottle of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar with the same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Mary had a bottle of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. That's taste was as good as the original, maybe even better.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. As good as the original, maybe even better.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Is that a faucet running?
That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Hundo P. Hundo P. Adjective. Short for being 100% sure or certain. As in, if we get a puppy, I'll Hundo P always walk it.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you in the Country Financial Studio. Ducks worked out today inside the Mashofsky Center. And in practice always features a 2-minute drill if it's a normal game week where you're playing on a Saturday. Wednesday always features a 2-minute drill. And I love one of the updates from Mose today. He was talking about how Chris Hudson had a beat on a guy, and had a beat on a pass, I should say, had beaten a guy. That's a lot of beat and beating. Chris Hudson had a beat on a pass from Anthony Brown, had beaten a guy. And suddenly you just see J.J. Greenfield just come over and make a big play. Those are names like Steve Stevens, Greenfield, that we haven't talked about in the secondary a ton that sure seem like they're making big plays. And, when Rob said that, it occurred to me like, we're talking so much about looking back and at a game that was and bouncing back and moving forward. And, the Ducks are still just at practice making plays, and there's different guys that are competing for different spots. I thought just hearing Rob say that today, I was like, yeah. Guys just keep practicing. This is what happens. Meanwhile, Tyler Shough also took part in that 2-minute drill today. And he met with the media talking a little bit about bouncing back. And, again, look, I'll use this word again, candid. The Ducks have been candid in their interviews this week. This is frustrating. Losses are supposed to motivate you, make you compete. I think that's what Coach Cristobal wants. And I think we've seen that emphasized by the players this week. Tyler Shough emphasized it when he talked to the media.
Tyler, a couple days removed from Friday, what's been the mood of the team and kind of is everybody's head on the right path right now for Cal on Saturday?
100%. We all talked as a group, got all of our leaders together and just talked to the team about what this week means to us and how we want to move forward. Everyone's kind of gelling together. We're pissed off in a way that we know we should have done better last week, but we're just going to use this momentum and just really take this week of practice seriously and just got to take it onto the field on Saturday.
The goal so far has been to play, as complete of a game as you guys possibly can. First couple games is playing really well in the second half. You guys played really well in the first half against Oregon State. I guess what's just preventing you guys from putting a full, complete game, playing well in both halves, you feel like?
Just execution on our part. It's the little things that matter, and we just got to take those little things and just know that they're big things at the end of the day. Everyone's got to do their job. I got to do my job better. It just comes out to translating what we do in practice onto the field every single drive. We can't take anything for granted, no matter the scoreboard or the clock. So that's been our mindset going forward and in the past, and we just got to keep hammering away at it.
Tyler, last year, Cal was the only team to hold you guys under 20 points. What do you see as the keys to attacking their defense and being successful on Saturday?
Last year, they had a completely different DC and obviously different players and a different offensive coordinator for us. So we're not trying to focus on last year as much, but obviously they have a great front this year. They got a new defensive coordinator, and they got great DBs on the back end. So they're going to be another tough defense and extremely physical. So we're going to have to bring our best for sure.
Tyler can certainly appreciate the drive to want to get better after a loss, especially. The offense was efficient, though, as a whole. This week has been efficient all season. Is that tougher as a quarterback to have that drive when you look back at yourself and say, what could I have done better? And it really does come down to 2 plays. It comes down to a couple of turnovers out of 66 plays. That's one of the biggest takeaways because there weren't a lot of negative plays. It was a lot of efficiency overall.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. It's 4 to 6 plays each game that define each game. You don't know what play it's going to be, so you got to play each rep like it's a loss and just go into it with a fresh mind and they could bring anything. And that just comes on execution and decision making on my part. And everyone's talked about it. We all got to do our job in order for a play to be executed well. I think we're just going to kind of honing in on that in practice this week to try not let our mind slip to play through a whole full quarter game.
Tyler, what have you maybe learned about yourself in the last few days here after a tough loss where obviously you don't want to point your fingers anywhere, but what have you learned about yourself from what happened on Friday?
Yeah, I was honestly, deep down, I was really glad it happened to me because we all got a good reflection moment, just to kind of be faced with a lot of adversity throughout the game and try and bounce back from it. And then ultimately at the end of the day, we didn't get the result that we wanted and to face that result and move on from it. I think it was just a great learning lesson for me personally and a lot of the guys on the team to not really get the outcome you want, but just know that, God's timing is better than our timing. So we kind of take that with a grain of salt and just using that as momentum and a passion to go forward. And I'm really, blessed and honored to be in this situation and to be able to have that pressure on all of us because, pressure is a privilege. So we're just going to take that and do what we can with it and trying to go 1-0 this next week.
Tyler, you had a couple of games last year that I guess you could classify as a disappointing loss. You're backing up Justin and kind of watching him throughout all of last season. Is there anything that you saw out of him and how he handled, the aftermath of those losses from a leadership standpoint that you kind of took and were maybe able to apply this year?
I think we handle it in different ways. I think him and I are different personally, but I think I just found that within myself and just rallied around our guys and to really define what this team means to us this year. So I'm really proud of our guys and how they fought and how they kind of overcame this moment. And, we still got to keep going forward.
We've talked about how the offense is scratching the surface in terms of how much was still there in the playbook. We've seen it expand each week from 11 to more 12, more 10 this last week. How much more are you guys able to do now this many weeks in, especially when guys coming back like a Micah or some of your tight ends getting healthier? That we've talked about this before, but again, just more formations, more stuff, even compared to last year, maybe just a more expansive offense.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. We feel comfortable in any personnel grouping with anybody on the field. That's a great part about having these a lot of these guys come back and get healthy and be fresh and ready to go. So as a quarterback, you feel completely confident in those guys and in Micah getting a lot of those practice reps back and getting back with the team. I think it's just going to be ultimately better for all of us. And going into the game, we don't really know what personnel we're going to start in or be in for the rest of the game. We just kind of go with it on the flow and just have a great plan going in the week forward. But going against Cal, it's just going to be we're going to do what we do and we're going to do it to the best of our ability.
Yeah, Tyler, I don't know if the coaches have made you aware of this, probably not, but you realize the head coach, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, Cal are all starred for the Ducks, played for the Ducks and were stars here. And I don't know, last week was a rivalry game. You might kind of use that as a little bit of a rivalry too.
No, we don't really care, who they are, where they come from. We're just we care about the guys on the field and what looks they're going to give us. Everybody's from somewhere and everybody's got a story, but we know they're great coaches and great people, so they're going to have their guys ready, and we got to be ready as well.
In terms of Cal's personnel, Tyler, just 8, 19, 24, what have you seen from each of those guys on film, particularly 24, since you're going to be throwing on him? I think you hope not to see very much of 8 and 19, but what are you seeing from those guys on film?
Yeah, extremely physical, twitchy guys. They're going to be some of the best corners and DBs we faced all year. So I know they're going to be ready, and our wide receivers are getting ready for this week and for them as well. But as a quarterback perspective, I don't really try and think about personnel as a corner per se, more as kind of where they're forming as a defense. And I have full belief in all of our wide receivers. We believe every matchup that we go against is in our favor, just because practicing and I feel confident in all of our guys, no matter the situation, who they're going up against. So, but obviously all around on defense, they're going to be physical and fast. So we just got to be ready for that.
That's Tyler Shough, the Oregon quarterback, meeting with the media as he breaks down that Cal team. Look, the defense, I think, is good for Cal. Don't get me wrong. I said earlier I thought they'd be better, but I did, But different defensive coordinator, and as you heard, yeah, they are all Ducks. We're familiar with them. We're familiar with some of those names. Wilcox. Others. Musgrave. I mean, yeah, we're familiar with some of them, but I actually love the way that Tyler Shough answered that question. Just like, yeah, everybody's got a story. We just worry about what's on the field and go win the game. Tyler Shough, though, he does lead the Pac-12 with 1,361 yards of total offense. That's the most by an Oregon quarterback ever through their first 4 starts. So sure, has he turned it over? And could that number be even higher if turnovers weren't plaguing the Ducks a little bit? Absolutely. But he's done some really good things. And 12 different players for the Ducks have made their first career start so far. Scott, I'll give you one guess how many of those players are on offense. And it can't be 12.
9.
Yes.
Ah!
Yes. Scott's done his research this week. Yeah, 9 players on offense have made their first career start for the Ducks. So let's put this in context and in perspective, shall we? 9 different players on offense have made their first career start, including the quarterback, who is leading the conference in most passing categories, and Joe Moorhead, the Oregon offensive coordinator, who obviously has a pretty great track record of coordinating some great offenses. Well, Joe Moorhead has said that they're playing above average offensively. They're leading the conference in scoring, and they're leading the conference in yardage, and they're leading the conference in yards per play. That's above average by Joe Moorhead standards with that many new faces. I'm not making excuses for him. But let's put in context what the Ducks are able to do. And Benjamin points out, is it not correct that if the football team wins out, we still win the Pac-12? That is correct. Ducks still have work ahead of them. Got to beat Cal, got to beat Washington, and then you got to win that Pac-12 championship game. That's doable, though. It's doable. But the Ducks are still looking like they can do that. So the Pac-12 numbers, if you will, Travis Dye continues to impress me as well, averaging nearly 11 yards per offensive touch. That also leads the conference. And Oregon is second nationally since the start of the 2019 season with 9.5 points off turnovers per game. The Ducks capitalize when they force a turnover. The problem is they're turning it over more this year than they have over the last few years. We'll see what happens. The Ducks also, though, are quite balanced. Oregon, one of 4 Power 5 programs that's averaging 275 yards passing and 200 yards rushing per game. Can the offense be better? Absolutely. Some of those numbers tell you, though, that they're still playing pretty well. Take care of the football, run a few more plays, still get those explosion plays that Joe Moorhead wants. Help the defense get off the field, as you heard Jalen Redd say very honestly, hey, shouldn't have come down to that. Offense should have gotten a first down. They own it. They absolutely own it. And they know that they can get better, and I think they will this week. Absolutely think that they will. But this is a pretty good Cal team. I'll be honest, 0-3 Cal Golden Bears surprises me. I thought that on the schedule, when it first came out, well, when the third schedule for the Pac-12 first came out, I thought this was the toughest game on the schedule for the Ducks. Might still be, because they're going to have to do it in a bounce-back fashion. But I thought this was going to be the toughest game on the schedule. Coming up, we're going to switch to the defensive side of the ball here from Jordan Happel. The Swiss Army knife of the secondary, Jordan Happel. That's coming up. Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Back inside the Country Financial Studio next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you. Let's hear a little bit from Jordan Happel, the Duck secondary. Certainly glad that he's here. And he's made some plays for Oregon. That one, Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week effort also included his pick 6, which was really quite something at the end of a half. Ducks there for back-to-back weeks, really, really good at stealing points before halftime. Totally how they drew it up. Jordan Happel met with the media today.
Jordan, what's the process been of kind of moving on from last Friday's game and getting ready for a Cal offense, which seems to be getting better and better by the week?
Yeah, I mean, we just dealt with what happened last week on Sunday, and we moved on from it. I mean, took it as a lesson, learned from our mistakes and whatnot, and we got right to preparing for Cal this week. Obviously, their offense has been improving every single week. So, I mean, we have a big challenge ahead of us.
Jordan, just how different was it for you at times where, I mean, we'd seen you roll down in the box and stuff in the prior weeks, but I think you were playing nickel more last week just due to the injuries and guys not being there than prior weeks. So just how different and difficult was it just to be moving around as much as you were last week?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's difficult. I'd say it's just part of football. I mean, obviously injuries happen. You never want to see that happen, but I mean, it's just part of football at the end of the day, and it's going to happen. I think everyone just needs to be prepared regardless of where you are and make sure you can be kind of interchangeable wherever needed. I mean, the more you can get on the field at any spot, the better.
Jordan, what do you see in their quarterback, Chase Garbers? I'm pretty sure he's the most experienced guy the secondary has faced to date.
Yeah, I mean, he's looked really good in all their games this year. I mean, obviously they had a little tough one with their first game with whole COVID and whatnot, but you can see looking at their numbers and just from the film itself, they've improved as an offense every single week, and that the quarterback's really comfortable back there.
Jordan, you mentioned that this Cal team is getting better week after week. I guess where are you seeing those improvements, week after week offensively that you have to be ready for?
I'd say you see them everywhere. I mean, just kind of there's not really one spot that I would pinpoint or not, but I'd say just as an entire offense, they have gotten better and better, which each and every week and each and every game.
throwing a couple of their skill guys, whether it be their lead running back, the freshman 28, when you're rolling down, certainly you're going to be looking to stop him, and 11 at receiver. What do you see from each of those guys?
Their offense as a whole just has a bunch of weapons. I mean, as a defense, we're not going to sit there and focus too many on one guy. I mean, as a whole, we just need to play better. And I mean, if we play as a team and as a defense and do what we're capable of, I think it'll be a good day for us.
Jordan, I wondered when you this is a young defense as a whole. You're one of the more veteran guys, but you haven't played at Oregon. This is your first loss here. Were there defeats at Boise State that were tough that maybe you used that were kind of instructive for kind of helping getting this group ready after Friday?
Yeah, I mean, every loss is tough. I mean, obviously you never want to lose, but I mean, important part of losing is taking it as a lesson, growing from it, and just moving on. I think that's the biggest thing our team has done is we dealt with the issues we had on Sunday with our practice, and then we got on to Cal the next day on Monday.
That's Jordan Happel. Good stuff. Just talking about, hey, you know what? You got to move on. And that's exactly what the Ducks are doing. Jordan Happel, Tyler Shough, Jalen Redd, Alex Forsyth, and Coach Cristobal all on the show today. Now we got basketball coming up tonight. And, of course, the Duck Insider on Thursday and Friday. Make our North Fork Public House Pac-12 picks. Jorgie's still to me. It's fun. Yeah, you know, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Time for your 2-minute drill brought to you by Cafe Yum. A couple things for you to know, things going on around Oregon athletics. You can still submit your shout videos that will be played at Autzen on game day for the student athletes. They'll still watch it up on the new scoreboard and the old scoreboard alike. And that's also going to be played on social media. So the Ducks still encouraging you to submit your shout videos. You can find that on GoDucks.com. And if you need any help with that, let me know. I'm on Twitter at JoeyMacUO. Basketball national anthem videos as well. The Ducks are taking submissions for national anthem videos that we will play at Matthew Knight Arena for the home games that the Ducks basketball teams will host. Email those submissions to athletic@uoregon.edu. athletic@uoregon.edu for your basketball national anthem videos. GoDucks.com/fan cutouts. Matthew Knight Arena is ready for your fan cutout. I'm hoping that they'll just move mine over from Autzen. Think they will? Well, I think that I hope that they'll do that.
Are they moving all of them?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
But I would like mine to be moved over before it ends up in the studio.
I still haven't seen mine.
I have. Yours is there. I'm happy to report that Scott's Stormtrooper helmet made it in.
I gotta see it.
Scott, I was also thinking we could take the cutouts from Autzen and we could just put them here in the studio. We could have a studio audience of cutouts.
I like that. Like right over here or right here.
It could be done. It could be done.
I like it.
Yeah. That's your 2-minute drill brought to you by Cafe Yum restaurants throughout Oregon and Washington. Menus and nutrition info, cafeyum.com. Great way to finish the show. Basketball tonight. Talk to you at 5:30.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm place on a cool day.
Football
I want to be a
stadium.
bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org.